Have you ever stopped to wonder why movie romances always end with a wedding kiss, but never show the credit card bill arriving the next month? There is a romantic narrative we have been sold since childhood, the idea that love conquers all and that money doesn't matter. But I am here today as your mentor to tell you that this is the biggest financial lie you could ever swallow, and if you do swallow it, it will cost you dearly. It might cost you your freedom. Before we go on, a crucial disclaimer: when I say broke, I am not just talking about a current bank balance. I am talking about mindset. A person can be temporarily out of cash but have a razor sharp wealth mindset. The danger lies in the reverse. I see brilliant people with promising careers who suddenly watch everything crumble, not because of the market, but because they chose the wrong pilot for the journey. Today, we are going deep. I am going to give you 7 brutal reasons, based on cold math and human behavior, why truly rich people are extremely selective about who they date. Stick with me, because the 7th reason is a twist that will change the way you look at your social circle forever. Before we start dissecting this financial problem, I am from Mars Invests. This channel is your sanctuary of sanity in a world crazy for consumption. If you want to understand the money matrix and stop being a pawn in someone else's game, you know what to do. Subscribe now. It is a $0 investment with infinite returns. Let us get into it. First, we need to set the scene. Imagine you are building an empire. It doesn't have to be a tower in Manhattan. It can be your financial independence. You have spent years disciplining your mind, learning about compound interest, understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. You are playing the long game. Now, imagine tying a 400-pound anchor to your ankle and trying to run a marathon. That is exactly what happens when you join forces with someone who is financially chaotic. The first reason is what I call temporal frequency dissonance. Sounds technical, but it is simple. People with a wealth mindset live in the future. They make decisions today based on how it will affect their lives 10, 20 years from now. They understand the concept of delayed gratification. They look at $1,000 in Dante, see a pair of shoes or an expensive dinner. They see seeds. They see what that $1,000 can become if invested in the S&P 500 at an average rate of 8% a year for 3 decades. For the person with a wealth mindset, every $1,000 invested today at 8% interest will be worth over $10,000 in 30 years. This is called the future value of money. Is your partner investing or consuming that future value? If he or she pressures you to spend that $1,000 on something that depreciates, a gadget, an outfit, they are literally stealing $10,000 from your future. This is not a metaphor. It is cold math. That is the most crucial difference. One side sees multiplication. The other sees instant satisfaction. On the other hand, the person with a broke mindset lives exclusively in the now. It is the dictatorship of the present. If money comes in, it needs to go out. It is a psychological itch. For them, money is a means to get immediate pleasure or instant stress relief. When these two frequencies collide in a relationship, friction is inevitable and constant. It is not just about fighting over the electric bill. It is about life vision. You want to invest your year end bonus to speed up your retirement. Your partner wants to blow it all on a trip to the Maldives to post on Instagram. Because we deserve it and you only live once. That phrase, you only live once, or YOLO, is the war cry of eternal poverty. Rich people know that you live every day. You only die once. And living every day without financial security is a hell you choose. This dissonance creates emotional wear and tear that drains the energy you should be using to create, produce, and invest. This leads us directly to the second reason, which is credit score contamination and legal risk. In the United States, your FICO score is almost as important as your DNA. It dictates where you can live, what car you can drive, and even if you can get certain jobs. When you marry or merge finances with someone who has a destroyed credit history, you aren't just helping that person. You are importing their chaos into your system. Suddenly, interest rates that were low for you skyrocket. Access to cheap capital to leverage investments disappears. In many states, debts acquired during marriage are community property. If your partner has compulsive behavior and maxes out credit cards or takes out predatory loans, guess what? The debt is yours. The wealth you took a decade to build can be dissolved by half or worse in a contested divorce caused by financial stress. This is a crucial point in the dating phase. Your due diligence, you need to vet a partner financially before marriage, just as you would before hiring a CFO. The average cost of a contested divorce can exceed $50,000, not counting the emotional stress and loss of assets. A study showed that financial stress is the leading cause of divorce ahead of infidelity. If you are with someone who already has a history of unresolved consumer debt, you are taking on an unlimited liability. You become the guarantor of a ticking time bomb. Rich people understand risk management. And the biggest risk to your net worth isn't a stock market correction. It is choosing a partner who functions as an unlimited financial liability. It is like buying a stock you know is going to tank, but hoping it goes up because it is cute. The market does care about your feelings, and neither does the law. But let us go deeper, because the third reason is more subtle and, in my opinion, more destructive on a daily basis. It is scarcity energy versus abundance energy. Broke people, and remember, I am talking about mindset, constantly operate in survival mode or victim mode. Everything is expensive. The system is unfair. The rich are evil. They spend an incalculable amount of mental time complaining about gas prices or looking for people to blame for their lack of money instead of looking for solutions. This negativity is contagious. Think about your mental bandwidth. It is your most valuable asset. If you live with a scarcity mindset, you start feeling guilty for having ambition. You start hiding your financial wins so you don't make the other person feel bad. Do you realize the insanity of that? You start shrinking yourself to fit into your partner. Box of limitations. Rich people want partners who applaud growth, who bring new ideas, who say, congrats on the first million. Now how do we get to 10? There is a myth that money doesn't buy happiness. That is true. But the lack of money guarantees unhappiness and stress. True wealth is not money, but peace of mind. If your partner is a constant source of financial stress, they are stealing your peace, which is the prerequisite for growth and success. If you are with someone who makes you feel guilty for wanting to prosper, you are sleeping with the enemy of your future. Wealth demands optimism and resilience. The broke mindset is cynical and defeatist. These two energies don't mix. One nullifies the other. It is much easier to descend to the level of complaining than to pull someone up to the level of achievement. Now, breathe a little. I know this might sound harsh. Maybe you are thinking of someone specific right now. Good. Discomfort is the price of admission to a new reality. Let's continue. The fourth reason is the opportunity cost of drama. Money, at its essence, is a tool of freedom. It buys time. People with a broke mindset, however, are chaos magnets. The car breaks down because they didn't do preventive maintenance. Bills are late and generate fees. Their life is a series of fires that need to be put out. An entrepreneur or investor values their time at hundreds or thousands of dollars an hour. You don't spend a Saturday arguing over a $10 bill, but if you date a chaotic person, you become the firefighter. Instead of using your Saturday to study a new asset class, plan your next venture, or simply rest, you are solving problems that your partner's lack of planning created. How much is your peace worth? Every hour you spend dealing with someone else's financial drama is an hour you aren't. Building your legacy. Rich people are obsessed with efficiency and noise elimination. A broke partner is a noise factory. They bring complexity to a life that should be simplified by wealth. And here we enter a point that touches the ego's raw nerve. The fifth reason is the lack of a shared language. Imagine trying to explain Russian poetry to someone who only speaks Japanese. That is how an investor feels trying to explain to a consumer's partner why they shouldn't buy that finance luxury car right now. To you, the car is a depreciating liability that loses 20% of its value the moment it drives off the lot. To the broke person, the car is status. It is validation. You are looking at the same object, but seeing completely different things. This lack of shared language makes long-term planning impossible. How will you plan for retirement? If one sees value in long-term investment and the other sees value in designer brands, the conflict will be perpetual. Ancient wisdom says a spring cannot produce both fresh and salt water. If you have opposing financial values, there is no way to go in the same direction. Rich people seek partners who are fluent in the language of money. They don't. Need to be Wall Street experts. But they need to understand the basic principles. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference, and have patience. Without this common ground, every financial decision turns into a pitched battle. And who has the patience to live in a war zone inside their own home? No one thrives in a war zone. We have reached the sixth reason, and this is about external versus internal validation. Truly rich people, those who read The Millionaire Next Door, know that wealth is what you don't. It is the full retirement account, not the car in the driveway. Often, people with a broke mindset are addicted to looking rich. They need the approval of strangers. If you date someone like this, you will be dragged into the circus of appearances. You will be pressured to go to restaurants that don't make sense, to buy clothes for events that don't matter, to give gifts that impress the audience but destroy the budget. This pressure to keep up appearances is the cancer of wealth accumulation. The need to post a trip to the Maldives, even if it means maxing out the credit limit, is the symptom. Broke people are always in a race to prove they aren't broke. And it is precisely this race that keeps them broke. If you have a wealth mindset, you find this game of appearances exhausting and ridiculous. You would rather see your net worth grow than spend $500 on a dinner just to post a story. The incompatibility here is of fundamental values. One values substance, the other values the shadow. And now, get ready. We have arrived at the seventh reason, the twist, the missing piece of the puzzle. The seventh reason why rich people never date broke people is because they know how to differentiate being broke from being poor. And here's the secret. A wealthy person can date someone with no money, as long as that person does have a broke mindset. There is an abysmal difference between the temporary state of lack of funds and the chronic condition of mismanagement. Rich people invest in potential. They look at the future, PFIL, not just the current one. If you find someone who earns little today, but has discipline, has a hunger for learning, has integrity, hates debt, and understands the value of work, that person is broke. They are an undervalued asset. They are a growth stock. The problem and the real reason for this video is the person who is spiritually broke, the one who earns $100K a year and spends $105K. The danger is not the lack of money in the partner's account. It is the lack of financial character. Rich people run from people with corrupted financial character. They know you can fix an empty bank account with work and strategy, but you cannot fix a victim and consumerist mindset unless that person deeply wants to change. The fatal mistake many make is thinking they can save their partner, the savior syndrome. It won't happen. You will drown trying to save them. Deadweight always beats the swimmer. So what does this mean for you? It means that love is an economic decision as much as an emotional one. The biggest financial decisions of your life aren't which stocks to buy. The biggest financial decision of your life is who you choose to marry. This person will be your partner in the company called Family Inc. Would you hire a partner for your business who steals from the register, who doesn't show up for work, or who makes impulsive decisions? Of course not. So why would you accept that in your personal life? Look at your current relationship or your future prospects through this lens. It is not about being a gold digger. It is not about looking for someone rich. It is about looking for someone sane. If you find someone who shares your values, even if that person starts from zero with you, hold them tight together. With the right mindset, the effect of compound interest applies not only to money, but to love, partnership, and success. But if you ignore the signs, you can end up being another sad statistic of someone who had everything to win but was dragged to the bottom by trying to carry dead weight. The choice is yours. Life is a game of resource allocation. Where are you going to allocate your heart, your time, and your wallet? Think about it. If this video turned on a light in your head, that is good. It means you are waking up. Make sure to hit the like button. It helps the algorithm save more people from financially toxic relationships. Subscribe to Mars Invest now to receive the next protocol that will teach you how to identify if your partner is an asset or a liability. Invest in yourself, choose your partners well, and remember, the future is built today. Until next time.